This episode is presented by Avalara.
Hi, I'm Brian Gladden, CFO at Zealous. You're listening to the CFO Thought Leader Podcast.
Hi, everyone. This is Jack Sweeney bringing you a on-location episode. We are attending the IMA's 2023 Accounting and Finance Conference here in Minneapolis, Minnesota. On this episode, we're pleased to introduce to many of you, perhaps, Michael DePrisco, President and CEO of the IMA, who stepped into the office only last March. He succeeds, of course, Jeff Thompson, who was the IMA CEO for the last nearly 15 years, period that represented an important chapter for the IMA given its growth globally and the fact that it celebrated its 100th year just a few years back. We'll begin with a short interview with Mike DePrisco, and then I get to roam the conference and do some short interviews with a few of the members I think you'll find interesting. It all begins after this.
This episode is presented by Avalara. That's the sound of not worrying about sales tax compliance. Because when you automate it with Avalara, you don't have to worry about collecting sales tax or tracking who and what is tax exempt. With Avalara, you don't even have to worry about new tax laws and regulations. Avalara does it for you. If your business sells internationally, Avalara has you covered with cross-border tax compliance solutions. And when it comes time to file tax returns, Avalara automatically takes care of that too, giving you one less thing to worry about. Avalara has managed billions of sales for small, mid-size, and enterprise businesses, and seamlessly works with your current sales, e-commerce, and accounting platforms. Take the worry out of tax compliance with Avalara. Learn more at avalara.com. That's AVALARA.com.
Hello, we're speaking with Mike DePrisco, President and CEO of the IMA. Mike, welcome.
Thank you, Jack. It's good to be here.
Thank you for making time for us at this conference. I know it's a busy day or three for you. Mike, we always begin by asking our guests to look back for us. Would you mind just looking back on your career and sharing with us some of the milestones you believe punctuated that path forward?
Yeah, absolutely. Happy to do so. You know, Jack, when I reflect on my career, I would characterize it as one that has spent, where I've spent about 30 years working in what I would call for-purpose endeavors, organizations, and roles. Spent about 17 years working in higher education in a variety of executive roles where I had the opportunity to help young people earn education, develop careers, get started in their career in a variety of different fields. And after doing that about 17, 20 years, and I was a college president for a number of years and so forth, I was looking for something different. I was looking for a career change. I was looking to stay in an environment in which I could make a difference through personal and professional development opportunities, education, training, and so forth. And I found the professional association space and joined Project Management Institute, PMI, which is one of the leaders in the project management space, and joined the organization in 2013 and performed a number of executive leadership roles throughout my career there. And most recently as Chief Operating Officer and Interim CEO, and more recently was looking for a new opportunity and found IMA. And again, it fits very nicely with my career goals, what I've done, and I'm very excited about the opportunity at IMA. It's a great organization. I'm meeting great people, a great mission in terms of helping individuals achieve their career aspirations while also supporting and optimizing the profession of accounting.
We do want to find out how you plan to lead this organization, but I'm always surprised what our earliest career chapters sort of reveal about ourselves. How might your earliest chapter have influenced your path forward?
I originally went to school to be a high school teacher. I was going to be a history teacher. And as I went through that process, I realized I didn't think I wanted to spend every day in front of 14 and 15-year-olds. So I went into graduate school and started to think about a career in helping professions and working with college kids and helping them grow, learn, and do something with their lives, because I was impacted by a lot of mentors along the way who took me under their wing and helped me make the career choices that I ultimately made. I was a kid that grew up in the city. I wasn't supposed to go to college. I really started to learn at a young age the importance of connecting with people, of listening to people, communicating, and being genuine and authentic in interactions. And I'll tell you, as I progressed through my career, I can't tell you how many times I've had to reach into that toolkit of soft skills to help navigate some pretty complex situations, big organization transformations, big organization restructuring. And people don't want to hear about your technical capability during those critical times, right? They want to know you're there to support them, that you're championing the change, that you're giving them permission to try things, to experiment. It's okay to fail, just learn from it. I always tell my people, when you're feeling uncomfortable, then you're getting ready to learn something. So when that discomfort comes, lean into it, because that's how you learn and that's how you get to the other side. And I got to tell you, again, getting through some of those big transformational change, there are many times, you're really stressed out. You're wondering how you're going to get through this project. Ultimately, it comes down to, talking to individuals, being authentic with individuals, listening to individuals. You break through some of that fear, that discomfort that's out there. And it's oftentimes just a perception. The reality is people are all feeling the same thing, right? And the more you can lean into that, I think the more effective you can be.
Well, I think we're catching up with you your first 90 days. Is that correct?
Yeah. Actually, 73 days, Jack. 73 days.
So tell us what you make of the finance and accounting world here, because you have a point of comparison when it comes to professional development. And is there something that surprised you, something that sets them apart, do you think?
I'll say this. I think that one of the things that really attracted me to IMA, well, two things. One is its community. It's clear you have a passionate, committed community of individuals that really care about the profession, that contribute to the profession, and that have really made some terrific gains in bringing awareness to the value that accounting and finance professionals play in organizations. And as an organization leader for the last 20, 30 years of my career, I have seen that firsthand. I have partnered with accounting and finance professionals day in and day out and recognize how important they are in helping to inform those key strategic decisions that need to be made day in and day out in an organization. Helping to assess risk, helping to understand the data behind the numbers, the story that's ultimately behind the numbers that are being presented. And I have a great deal of respect and appreciation and admiration for the work they do. So coming here to me was, just a natural move for me, because again, I completely understand and support the notion of accounting and finance professionals being business partners and helping leaders and organizations unlock business value.
So maybe you can share with us, as you look forward, the role that IMA plays in finance and accounting professionals, the lives of the finance and accounting professional. How is it likely to change or evolve in the coming years?
Well, I think, certainly, for those that are familiar with professional associations and IMA in particular, we're a 100-year-old organization. And I think we've been on the cutting edge of helping the profession evolve, to grow, to advance through our thought leadership, through research, through our learning offerings, through our advocacy work, through our certifications, and so on. And over time, we've had to continue to stay current with what's happening in business, how it's changing, how it's evolving, what is needed, what do the practitioners working in organizations need to stay relevant, current, and so forth. And we spend a lot of time working with organization leaders, our board of directors, other key stakeholders to really keep our finger on the pulse of what's happening. So we've done that throughout our 100-year career, and I think now more than ever, with the disruption that we see in the world, with some of the big challenges that the world is facing, I think IMA is uniquely positioned to continue to play that key role in helping organizations, practitioners develop the skills they need to meet the challenges of the future, whether it's tackling issues of ESG, sustainability, DE&I, data analytics, disruptive technology, and so forth. That is what IMA exists to do, to ensure that we're bringing the latest and greatest information, tools, education to our practitioners so that they can have confidence in performing the roles they're performing in their organization.
One of the characteristics of this conference I find interesting is the breadth of industries that the membership attending here represent. You can go to different conferences held by technology companies, but very often the attendees are also tech. That's not the case here. You've got quite a representation of different industries. Is that likely to change or evolve that membership industry mix?
Yeah. So, way back when, mostly cost accounting in the manufacturing industry, and I think we have evolved as businesses has changed, and the needs of stakeholders has changed in organizations. We have become much more broad in our focus and our reach and our impact and so forth. And it is, you could see it on full display here. We have members, number one, all over the world now, about 140,000 members, and they represent really any industry that you can think of. It's accounting and business, it's finance and business, and every organization needs qualified, competent, experienced accounting and finance people to make sure it runs effectively. So you'll see people here from medical, from consulting services, from construction, from manufacturing, from healthcare, from all kinds of industries. And I think that's what really makes a conference like this special, because you inevitably are going to be connecting with individuals that maybe have the same role as you, but it's in a different industry, and you can always learn what's happening and pick up little nuggets of information that you can then take back to your office and apply in your day-to-day role.
Yeah. Now, you mentioned a membership of 140,000, and I know that it's expanded globally over the last 10 years. What the mission globally, and it makes us wonder what the value to the membership ultimately is when you have such a global membership. Is probably key, but I'm going to let you answer the question. Why? What's the value a global organization now that there's a lot of time spent overseas building this, I know. So,
yeah. Well, first and foremost, I think there's a need, right? And as the organization, as the world becomes more globally distributed, I think you're finding, multinational organizations are setting up shop all over the world. COVID has really accelerated people moving all over the world to work and to contribute to various communities and so forth and so on. And I think the beauty of accounting and finance, it's a common language. We know it works, and organizations, regardless of where you are, if you're in Singapore, India, the U.S., Latin America, Europe, you're looking for people that have a certain level of competency, knowledge, information, skill, experience that can help drive business value. And everyone, regardless of where you live, you're looking for ways to improve outcomes for your organization, which in turn will contribute to better societies, better communities, and really tackling the biggest challenges that really impact everyone, whether it's climate change, whether it's food scarcity, whether it's water issues, and so forth. These are big issues that affect everybody around the world. So to the extent that we can, share what we know with others around the world, and, high tide lifts all boats, I think, it's incumbent upon organizations to have that responsibility. And as a nonprofit organization, as an organization that's focused on doing good for organizations, societies, and people, I believe, it's the right place to be for IMA.
Now, I want to touch on AI with you. Today, few people doubt AI will have a sizable impact on the accounting department of most businesses. It's already having a sizable impact, some people would tell us. What can IMA members expect from the association as they try to contemplate that future career path?
Well, one is I'm glad it came up, because there hasn't been a conversation that's happened in the past 6 to 12 months that didn't include AI or ChatGPT, Jack. So thank you. We checked the box there. But no, I think that, look, over the past 100 years, think about all the technology advancements that have happened, and we've had to adjust and adapt, and we will, right? And it's basically what we're seeing are more tools. More advancements that ultimately people need to figure out how to harness. And at the end of the day, use it in a way that's going to create a value, that's going to contribute to positive outcomes for society, for organizations, and so forth. It's going to mean that people's jobs are going to change, right? But I still think net, we're going to need people. We're still going to need people. You need people that can interpret data from all this new technology that's coming out to ensure that there isn't bias in the algorithms that we're using to generate some of the findings that come out of all this really robust technology. You need people to communicate, to connect, to solve problems. AI, I don't think it's figured out how to do that just yet. So I don't think, yeah, sure. Is it gonna help with productivity and efficiency? Great, yeah. And is it going to allow individuals maybe to use their time better so they don't have to focus on mundane types of tasks? Yeah, that's great. That's good. But I think it opens up even more opportunities for individuals like accounting and finance professionals to think more strategically, to think more about how they can deliver outcomes, value, versus getting caught in some of the administrative elements of the work.
Michael DePrisco, thank you for making time for us at day 2 of the IMA 2023 conference here in Minneapolis.
Thank you, Jack.
Hi, it's Jack. I would now like to introduce you to some of the finance professionals I've been speaking with here at the conference over the last few days. I've been asking them to look forward for us and share their priorities for the coming year as business finance professionals. Here's what they shared with me. And hello, we're speaking with Paul Fredlake, Director of Finance and IT for Server Products. Paul, welcome.
Thanks for having me.
So, Paul, tell us a little something about Server Products.
Server Products has been around for over 75 years and is a fast-growing food and beverage technology company, which combines technology with function to provide innovative solutions for both front of the house and back of the house food service applications.
So, looking forward, the next 12 months, Paul, can you share your priorities as a finance professional?
Sure. Well, I'm sure some of these won't surprise the listeners. We're going to be focusing on FP&A efforts, which are an annual recurrence and also something that we frequent quarterly and also monthly. Risk management. The environment that we're operating in as we're growing is continuously changing, and so we're continuously having to evaluate our risk profile as an organization. cost management and efficiency, looking for opportunities to take cost out of our products and find operational efficiencies, not only as a manufacturing company, but also as a technology company. But the last three are the ones that I'm most excited about. The first one of those three is leveraging technology. One of the things that we're going to be focusing on over the next 12 months in the finance organization is really learning more about how to utilize AI as a tool to gain additional leverage and efficiency. So, look into GPT-4 and learn how to prompt effectively. So that's one of the things that I'm looking forward to learning more about. The next one is strategic planning and execution. As a growing organization, it's really critical for us not only to have clarity around our strategic plan, but also really have our arms around how to execute that plan and make sure it gets done. And so what is the finance organization's and the IT organization's role in helping to support the other functions in the organization to continue to fire on all cylinders and execute that strategy on time? And then the third one is really developing as a team. So not only myself continuing to learn and grow, but also really empowering the finance and also the IT team to learn and grow, not only as professionals individually, but also together as a team as we support the growth of the organization.
Paul Fredlake, thank you for joining us on CFO Thought Leader.
Thanks for having me.
Hello, we're speaking with Arlene Koch, Assistant Vice President of Finance for Club Med. Arlene, welcome.
Thank you. It's good to be here. So just a little history of Club Med. We are the innovators of the all-inclusive hotels. So in 1950 we started it, and we have like 63 properties worldwide. We're in many, many countries. Right now, I am in the North American Caribbean zone, but we have different zones. We have Europe and Africa, we have Asia, we have South America, so we're just all over.
So, Arlene, we just have one question for you. As you look forward for the coming 12 months, what are your priorities?
Okay, if I may, Jack, I'm going to give you two. From a company perspective, we're looking at improving our technology. Especially with our ERP from the finance sector. So we're looking at improving our GL technology as well as our purchasing and accounts payable. So we're moving fast with that. We are a worldwide company, so it takes a little bit of a staging to implement this. However, we're very excited because then we're going to see improved technology will give us efficiency. But from a more personal perspective in regards to my team, we're working on how we can prevent burnout and retain our employees. So after COVID, we saw a lot of that happening. And so right now we're trying to see, and actually, if I can put a shameless plug for the IMA, it was from the conference last year and studying the CSCA exam that I realized that let's implement some things. Instead of doing an exit survey, let's do a stay survey. And let's find out what is it that they need to stay. Because I don't want to find out after they've left. And this I got through the conferences here. And so I did that and realized that my team, I was at risk in losing my team. So now we're working on what can we do to make my managers in particular be working on more efficient projects or strategic projects instead of being caught up in the minutiae of today's work. So that involves improving or automating things to see how if we can get more people in our staff because we lost staff during COVID, to see how we can get more resources and to see how we can better align our skill set to the right areas.
Arlene Koch, thank you for speaking with us on CFO Thought Leader.
Thank you for having me.
Well, hello, we're speaking with Franklin Chang, who's head of business operations for the automotive business unit of Aris. Franklin, tell us something about Aris. What type of company is this?
Yeah, Aris is a connected vehicle solutions provider for automotive and automotive adjacent OEMs.
And what are your priorities as head of operations for the automotive business unit?
So the automotive business unit at Aris is scaling very, very quickly this year. And so as you can appreciate, the difference between small companies and large companies is really a matter of initiative versus procedures. And so the key to successfully transitioning from a small organization to a large organization, in my opinion, is to be able to put in the right processes and procedures at the appropriate time and of the appropriate scale. And so what my goal this year really is to start putting in and introducing those technologies, tools, best practices, many of them discussed at this conference, so to really help sustain the growth for the Aris Automotive BU.
Well, that's all for this special on-location episode of CFO Thought Leader here in Minneapolis at the IMA's 2023 annual conference. We'd like to thank the IMA and its membership for making us feel so welcome. As always, thank you for listening. Hello, Thought Leader listeners. As you have perhaps already heard or even seen, we're now featuring the career lessons and moments of strategic insight shared by our CFO guests as Thought Leader videos. You can now find these videos on our blog at cfothoughtleader.com and, of course, our newsletters, but also on LinkedIn. If you haven't already, please go ahead and follow our CFO Thought Leader LinkedIn company page, and you'll be certain not to miss a single Thought Leader video debut. CFO Thought Leader, the #1 thought leadership platform exclusively for and by CFOs. As always, thank you for listening.